She adopted this black boy 27 years ago. On January 30th, 2016, Anja Ringgren Loven, a Danish social worker living in Nigeria, rescued a starving toddler from imminent death. The child had been abandoned by his own family and community after he was accused of being a witch, a practice that, sadly, is common in many African countries. Barely capable of walking, he had been living on the streets for 8 months and surviving on scraps thrown by people. Also, if you've not done so already, please subscribe to our channel and click that notification bell to get inspired by these real-life stories every day. Now back to the story. The Nigerian boy had been abandoned by his family after he was accused of being a witch and had survived on only scraps for an astounding 8 months. Anja was appalled and heartbroken when she first saw the heartbreaking state of the young boy. Despite being riddled with worms, the starving boy with the skeletal frame started to do a little dance as soon as he saw the foreign aid workers. "I think that was his way of reaching out for help," unquote, Anja said. The aid workers received a tip-off about his deteriorating state when a man from the village called their center. Anja and her crew pretended to be missionaries looking for dog meat to buy so that they didn't let on that they knew about the boy who was deemed as evil. Quote, "I know that some of these villagers have been looking at him with tears in their eyes, but they have not had any chance to do anything because they have been afraid of helping a child who has been accused of being a witch because it can affect them and even their own children," unquote, she said. Quote, "Even though they outcast the child, it does not mean they want him to be taken in and helped by someone. Once he had been declared a witch, they made sure to either make him starve to death or kill him. And so, I just started by saying, 'Can I give him some water?' And some bystanders urged me to do so. 'Yeah, please give him. He's thirsty, he's hungry,' they said," unquote. She bent down and gently began feeding him and giving him water from a bottle. She then wrapped up the disoriented toddler in a blanket and got into a car and headed to the nearest hospital for treatment. Quote, "In the car, that's when I now decided to call him Hope," unquote, she said. Quote, "Because the breathing was so heavy and you could see all his bones and I was just thinking where to bury this boy, I was so sure he was going to die," unquote. When Hope reached the hospital, he was given medication to remove the worms from his stomach and daily blood transfusions to incorporate more red blood cells into his body. Ms. Loven said, quote, "At the hospital, they discovered that Hope suffered from hypospadias, inborn condition in which the child has an underdeveloped urethra. Fortunately, Anja didn't have to follow through with the unbearable task of digging his grave, as little Hope proved to be the most incredible trooper, thanks to the help of an overwhelming reaction to the photo that reached every corner of the globe. In just a matter of months, people donated millions of dollars, which helped him make the most phenomenal transformation. Quote, "With all the money we can, besides giving Hope the very best treatment, now also build a doctor clinic on the new land and save many more children out of torture," unquote. She said 2 months after his rescue, "Thanks to the money raised, Hope was able to undergo surgery and the pint-sized fighter could recover completely." Following Hope's unexpected recovery, Anja had his name tattooed across her fingers, which reminds her not only of the little lad, but also means, quote, "help one person every day," unquote. Just 8 weeks later, Hope was unrecognizable, having gained weight and pictured smiling and playing with other children. The fact that little Hope, as Anja affectionately named him, is alive and very healthy today is an absolute miracle, and no one was more surprised than Anja herself. Hope now faces a much happier, healthier, and safer future growing up in an orphanage where Anja says he enjoys the company of quote-unquote 35 brothers and sisters. Almost a year later, she posted amazing before and after photographs of her holding a water bottle up to the boy's mouth. In an emotional Facebook post, she wrote, quote, "On the 30th of January 2016, I went on a rescue mission with David Emmanuel Umem, Nisibe Orok, and our Nigerian team. A rescue mission that went viral, and today it's exactly 1 year ago the world came to know a young little boy called Hope. This week, Hope will start school," unquote. Now, Hope is 8 years old with amazing talents in arts. He is regarded as a young Picasso by everyone at the orphanage. Hope has never met his parents, and the organization has been unable to track down any of his relatives. Despite his grim start in life, the young boy is able to look at his viral photo with a smile from time to time. Widely recognized for her humanitarian work, Anya was named, quote, the most inspiring person of the year, unquote, by Germany's OOOM magazine, beating Pope Francis and Barack Obama to the title. Loven's work in Nigeria was recognized by the Dalai Lama, who invited Loven to India to personally thank and acknowledge the work she is doing in Nigeria. She has also received other awards like 2016 Niels Ebbesen Medal, 2017 Paul Harris Fellowship from Rotary International, and the 2017 Hope Award. She's also an ambassador for the Universal Peace Federation International. Her commitment to humanitarian works began when she lost her mother. She was just 23 years old when her tragic death occurred. Before her mother died, she worked in an elderly home, and she always educated her on equality and human rights. From there, she developed a very strong fascination with making an impact in the society. As she read more about human rights, she developed a big interest in Africa. As a little girl, she dreamt about life in an African village and being able to play with the children there. Her mother's death had a crippling effect on her as she struggled deeply to cope with her loss. It took her several years to reconfigure her world without her mom, as she was the center of her life. But in 2011, she decided that she had to fulfill her childhood determination of making a difference in Africa as an ode to her mother. Anya joined aid organizations in Malawi and Tanzania. Just after turning 30 years old, Anya Ringren Loven gave up her life in Denmark, sold all her possessions, and left her life in Denmark to travel to Nigeria to help children accused of witchcraft. In some villages in the Niger Delta region, children who are thought to be witches can be abandoned, tortured, or killed, and Anya was so moved by their distressing situation that she felt she had to help. She later launched the not-for-profit African Children's Aid Education and Development Foundation. She created the organization with the mission to help children who have been labeled witches and therefore neglected by the members of their community. She has never looked back on her incredibly brave decision. Quote, "Today I can look back, and my team and I have rescued so many children who would be dead today if we had not been there." Anya is married to David Umem, and the couple have a 7-year-old son, David Emmanuel Umem Jr. The phenomenon of witch hunting in Africa is an ancient one, but has reportedly been on the rise due to urbanization, poverty, and conflict. Violence towards and abuse of children accused of witchcraft is especially common in Nigeria. The witch is seen as the epitome of evil and the cause of poverty, misfortunes, and diseases, and so is hated and subjected to violent exorcism, rituals, abuse, abandonment, torture, and even death. Thanks to the thousands of people from around the world who donated money to the ACAEDF, moved by Hope's story, Anya has been able to open a doctor's clinic for more such children. The organization has also bought a plot of land, Christ and Land of Hope, for a new orphanage that will rehabilitate other abandoned boys and girls. Hope's story is testimony to the belief that darkness can always be dispelled by light, and evil can always be destroyed by love. Anya and her team have received worldwide acknowledgments for their work. When talking about her team, Anya is referring to almost 30 Nigeria and Denmark-based individuals who support the work of her NGO, African Children's Aid, Education, and Development Foundation, ACAEDF, which runs the Land of Hope Care Center, the largest such center in Nigeria, currently housing 67 children between the ages of 2 and 18. Anya and her husband, David Emmanuel, run African Children's Aid Education and Development Foundation for abandoned children in southeast Nigeria. The organization implements a carefully developed creative program to facilitate trauma counseling and support psychosocial development, and also runs community awareness programs. Since its inception, the organization has extended its reach and now proudly boasts of having helped hundreds of children. In addition to the care center, the NGO has built and runs a children's hospital, a vocational and entrepreneur center, and a volunteers building. There's also a volleyball court and a football field, as physical activity is an important part of the child's development program, as well as a large garden and snail farm, currently home to almost 4,000 gastropods, highlighting the holistic approach that African Children's Aid Education and Development Foundation adopts to rehabilitate and nurture the most vulnerable members of Nigeria's community. While acknowledging their progress and achievements to date, Anya is quick to remind us that there is more work to be done. If you enjoyed the video, kindly give it a thumbs up, leave a comment in the comment section, and share with others. Thanks for watching, and catch you in the next one.